Hello and welcome to ShowPod. I'm Mr. P here with the other geeky guys, of course, Mr. Dave and Mr. Jethro. Hello, gentlemen. Once again, I start with an apology this time.
What have you done now?
We have our cups of tea, but once again, I have no biscuits.
Unbelievable.
This time again.
He's had weeks to get biscuits and he's still not bought them.
I have no biscuits.
Right.
There were biscuits, but now I have a bigger belly. That's what's
You have
happened.
the biscuits.
He's eaten all of the biscuits.
You know what? Next time, call us first. We can help you with that. We don't want you to be burdened with just
All the biscuits.
All the biscuits. Yeah.
That just takes the biscuit.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for joining us here on ShowPod.
Good job of not talking about biscuits, really.
No. What's your favourite biscuit? Let us know. That could be a Geeky Guy's
great
favourite
question.
for later on. What's your favourite biscuit?
Yes. Custard cream, bourbon.
Some people, some weird people, just like normal digestives with no chocolate on. Who are these people?
Yeah.
Why?
We're going to get letters. We're going to get letters. Are they good dunkers or do you need a hobnob?
Yes, the Marine of Dunkers.
Someone's going to pull that out as a meme now, isn't it? A little GIF or something. And I said GIF. Yes, it is GIF, not GIF.
My name's Jeff.
GIF. Yes. Anyway, sorry. So your favourite GIF moment. GIF. I said it then, didn't it? Your favourite GIF for today is you can't beat a hobnob. There you go. I'm doing that every time now. I'm doing a silly line we can pull out and make into a GIF. Today we're talking about. Jethro's going to love this, Mr. Dave.
Oh yeah.
Battlestar Galactica, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica that ran from
reimagined.
2004 to 2009. Not the original Battlestar Galactica.
That's right. Yeah.
Was that around 1975?
1978.
78.
It was after Star Wars became a cultural phenomenon. They were like, we need to capitalise on this.
Yeah, it's still a space opera. Popular.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was
Apparently, one of the conditions for that is you need to have a star in the title.
Right.
Hence,
I see.
Battlestar Galactica.
Stargate.
What? No.
Starship Troopers.
What? Well, for the 1978 series, you know, they were all at it, weren't they? We all want sci-fi shows because Star Wars is popular. Yeah.
People like them. Let's make
Make
more
more
of
of
them.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've not really watched much of the original at all.
Neither have I.
You haven't?
I've seen bits and pieces.
I thought you'd have seen all
yeah.
of it. I'm surprised about that.
Yeah. Well,
Do you plan to watch all of it at any point? Was it not really interesting?
maybe. I've tried to get into it, but it's sort of that era of sci-fi where it's a bit pulpy, a bit cheesy. That it's
I remember
not
watching
necessarily my taste.
an odd bit of it way back. And also, it was around the same sort of time that I watched a bit of like Blake Seven and a bit of classic Doctor Who. And I just thought, this is not for me. None of this is for me. It's all just shaky sets and it wasn't until a few years later that I then caught an episode of Doctor Who again, which was Tom Baker, and absolutely fell in love with Doctor Who. But I never really went back and looked at the other stuff from that era. I never looked at Blake Seven, not Babylon 5, Battlestar Galactica. Maybe I should. Maybe I should go back and watch some of the original Battlestar because I've not watched all of this new stuff. I mean, we've started watching it. Mr. Jethro has sort of strapped us to a seat and put matchsticks in our eyes and forced us to
Look, I've
watch
got
some.
some DVDs here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh,
worked
good, watch
once.
it.
I mean,
once before.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, I've got Superman. Do you want to watch it?" I said, "Okay." So we sat down and then he put Battlestar Galactica on. Oh, Jethro. But no, to be fair, it was good. We're enjoying it. I don't think it's something that I would like religiously go, I really want to watch BSG. Let's put it on. But when Jethro's here and he says, "Oh, shall we watch one?" Most of the time, that's just to stop him doing it after we've recorded. Most of the time,
You got the boxes right there.
they are
see
right
'em.
there. Yeah, you can see that on top of it though. It's Lois and Clark Superman series. See that?
I had to put it somewhere because it was just in the way of all our mics. And that.
Okay. Yeah, so we know. I don't mind watching it. and I do want to see where that story goes. But it's not it don't jump out at me as I really want to watch it. But I don't mind watching it when I'm watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that, at the time at least, it was very, very much different to like the other sci-fi offerings there was. Because
Would I be right in saying you describe it as a bit of a slow burn? It's, or would you not?
no,
No, you don't
No.
think so?
series as a whole, no. I mean, there are obviously slower moments in it, and there
Yeah.
are like faster moments in it, but the overall series, it doesn't hang around,
Okay.
I'd say. I mean, what's been your experience or exposure pre me exposing it to you?
I was similar to Mr. P in a way that I'd caught the odd one back in the day of the original series. Didn't really get into it, just saw bits. Saw bits when the Reimagined series came out. And then quite liked it, but kind of got drawn away to other things and didn't go back to it. And since we've started rewatching it, I've enjoyed it. Yeah, it does remind me of a few series that have come after that. Like I've said to you before about like The Expanse, and
Yes.
some of those kind of ships in that are very similar, and some of the politics are a little bit similar. So it's certainly been partially copied later on, and usually copy things that have worked and are quite good. So yeah, I've liked what I've seen of it so far. I'm interested to carry on watching it and see where the characters and the story goes, how it all develops. So I think it's just going to be a case of just working through it slowly and getting up to date. But it's certainly something that I'm interested in watching all the way through it.
Oh, cool. Right. Just to give some like.
I was just about to say synopsisizers, Jethro. So what's the
I'll-
basic idea
Before
of the show?
synopsisize you, I just talk about like the background, just lay the stage for like essentially the state of sci-fi TV at the time.
Yeah.
In the late 80s to mid 90s, there was a little known series airing called Star Trek Next Generation. Have you
I've
heard
heard of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
briefly rings a bell. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, with that, a young writer got his first gig, Ronald D. Moore.
Ah,
And
yes, he went on to do quite a bit in Star Trek.
Rondi.
yes, he started off as like a staff writer, then wrote some episodes, or he actually presented some spec scripts, and they got picked up, and he ended up getting on the staff and then became producer. He was often known as the Klingon guy, because whenever it comes to doing Klingon stuff, he was their go-to one, and went on to do a lot of stuff with Deep Space Nine. Also was one of the writers on First Contact.
Yes.
So it was, wasn't
And then after Deep Space Nine finished, he also did like 2 episodes of Voyager that were the overall like working on Star Trek and the way that Voyager was run, being like the reset button. He was like, right, I need to do something else, something different.
Yeah.
And around about the same time, the Sci-Fi Channel, that has been going on for like a while at that point, wanted to make some of their own series. Like at that point, they acquired all the rights to different things, like Stargate SG-1. They acquired the distribution rights to that. They thought they need to make some of their own stuff, so they were going to do like a remake of Battlestar, and they got him, Ron Moore, and a guy called David Icke, no relation to the conspiracist former
yes.
football player.
It's important to mention.
Yes, important to mention. And yeah, they both like wrote and produced a mini series for them in 2003. Now, originally, it was just going to be a mini series, but they both knew we want to make this as a backdoor pilot
Right.
in case they want to do more.
Yeah.
So they did. They made the mini series as these 2 hour-long episodes. And something rare with miniseries that the second part ended up gaining more viewers than the first part did.
That's bizarre.
Exactly. But that proved to them that this is actually really, really popular.
Yeah.
We need to commission this as a full series.
Go on, Dave. Go on.
So it worked.
People like it. Let's make more of it.
There we go. There
Got
we
a
go.
second series.
Yeah, so That was in 2003, and then the series proper started in 2004.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
I think,
Yeah.
as we've said before, that miniseries was a very good establisher of the show.
Yes.
I mean, I found that with only watching little bits in the past, it was quite nice to have that first before the main series began, rather than just being expected to know what's going on, who's who.
You
And
could
everything.
watch the series, the normal series on its own. Just
You
start
could.
watching it, and you could pick it up. But it certainly adds a lot more to it if you watch the prequel.
Yes. The
agree.
miniseries.
The miniseries, sorry.
Yeah, because like the first hour of it was just, besides the first scene, it's just regular life, normal life, setting everything up. And that also just works. Like,
You don't get that much now because there's not enough time to do that on productions that are coming out.
No, we need to.
They
we
don't
need to
even
get
give
to
you
the
credits
action.
anymore now.
No.
It's
No
all
credit
right,
sequences anymore. We've got
Thing.
time for
You
that.
miss out on the really good themes now, don't you? So they don't have time to put full proper themes together.
Yeah, you get like a 5-second jingle or something, don't you?
Yeah,
Or a couple of chords and that's it.
Yes.
And now a word from our sponsors. Are you looking to take your business or idea online? Then Namespace has you covered. From personal websites, e-commerce and fully managed IT services. See what Namespace can do for you. To find out more, go to namespace.rocks.
But from the very beginning, the producers wanted Edward James Olmos as Commander Adama and Mary McDonnell as Laura Roslin, who would eventually become the president. And one of the conditions that Olmos had was, I love the script, it's great, reminds me of Blade Runner and all that. And one of the conditions he had was, but if I see one green-headed alien with stuff glued to the forehead, I'm walking out. You wouldn't have to pay for my ticket. I'll just faint on camera and I will leave. And they were going to go in this
So they made him into a green alien. No, they didn't.
Well, they're going to go in this direction anyway, but they were like, right, we are not going to have any aliens in this, which at the time, for a sci-fi TV series, they all had aliens. You had your Star Trek, Babylon 5, Farscape, Stargate. They all had aliens. Like, even if they were more realistic.
This is a bit different. It's about the survival of human colonies.
Yes.
And even the bad guys in the original series, were more robotic, I suppose.
Well, they were the Centurions. Yeah. Because in the original, they made them robots to get away with killing more of them because there was a body count.
Yeah.
On the network, and if they're robots, they didn't count, so they could kill more of them.
Yeah. So the Cylons were robots, and they had red flashy lights.
The Nice Industries 2000 technology.
Well, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
That's where Kit's flashy light came from. Lenny Larson recycled the idea for Kit's front scanning light.
But you still had the Cylon Centurions in the reimagined, but they evolved to mimic more human form. And
which cuts down on your
it does
on your budget and props and things, isn't it?
But you can add it to the list of machines that rebel against humanity that look like humans. Like you can add another one. It
certainly opens up a lot more stories as well.
Yes,
for that. We ought to just briefly explain that the idea of this, very briefly, I'll explain that the idea of this show is that there's some human colonies that have survived from the Cylons. Basically. It's another one where machine tried to wipe out man, and we're trying to, as humans, we're trying to stay one step ahead, and we can on our ships we can like jump through space, through hyperspace, and we can make these jumps. But also the bad guys are also trying to catch up with us and follow us, so they're jumping behind, and we're only just ahead. So the idea is that the bad guys are really, really close behind and they could be here any minute. And if they get it, we need to jump really quickly and get away from them. And we continue to make these jumps as the bad guys keep following us. And all they want to do is just wipe us out. That's it. There is no other,
to start with.
They just want to wipe us out. That's it. And it's just a matter of survival. That's the premise for the show starting. That's very, very basically what it is. And I know you probably sat there cringing, Jethro, and you want to say lots more about it, but Basically, that's what it is. It's humans running and running for their
Yeah, there's
lives.
like 50,000 of them, and that's it.
Yeah, left.
Yes.
All the rest have been wiped out. So it's the last threads of humanity.
And the Galactica isn't like the Enterprise, where it's like the best ship in the fleet. No, literally before the attack, it was going to be retired and decommissioned into a museum, and like, they didn't even have like ammunition at the time of the strike, so they had to like go off to this
Bunker and get some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the time they like got everything, it was like, well, there's nothing left. Everything's been wiped out, and that's I mean, it's kind of a bleak scenario, but it's tense, but it's also in a way hopeful that
it's that constant
survival of the species against the
constant
odds.
strive
against the odds
to survive against
Yes.
all odds, and it's a bit like, I suppose it's a bit like Terminator. Terminator's going to keep coming after you, and it's going to keep coming after you, and it's going to keep coming after you, and it will die trying to kill you, and it's kind of what these are like, aren't they? But they're a lot more, not clever. That's not the right word. There's a lot more subterfuge and
they have a plan.
Covert
Cunning
operations.
and intelligence there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning of every episode, we are reminded that the Cylons have a plan. Yes, they definitely do. But there's definitely this, and we see it later on in the series where we get more Cylon-centric episodes, that there's this all like side to the Cylons that we rarely ever see. There's this sort of, there's internal politics within them, but there's almost like this collective groupness. Like every single model is aware of like how everyone else in that model feels, because you've seen like the miniseries, we know that there are 12 Cylon models, and like all the number sixes, if they're going to vote on a policy, they know what every one of those number sixes would feel about this. Okay, we vote this way, or if like the number twos or the number fours vote in another way.
These Cylon models you're talking about are the ones that mimic humans, so they look like humans.
Yes.
So there's, how many is there at the beginning that we know about?
12.
12.
Yes.
So we know that that cuts down on your actors as well, because you need 12 actors. But you've got 12 models that mimic humans.
Yes.
And you know, if you see one of these humans, it's actually a Cylon.
Yes.
It's not actually a human. That's a Cylon.
Yes.
We know that as the viewer, but not necessarily all the time do they know on screen, necessarily.
That's right. Because we also know that there are Cylons that don't know they're Cylons.
Yes, sleeper agents, as it were.
Yes.
It's all very interesting. Whereas in the original show, like we said, it was very much Tin Robot.
Yes.
The original series, by the way, got 7.2 on IMDb, and only ran for 21 episodes.
Yeah. One season. Yeah.
One season. Whereas the reimagined is 8.7 on IMDb.
Yes.
Running for 74 episodes.
Yep.
45 minutes apiece. But so I mean, still really good numbers.
Yeah, which is rare for a remake to be more popular or seen by many to be better than the original. I'd say this is like the rare case where
Doesn't happen.
There's not many.
Happens.
There's not many where that happens.
I mean, this is called a reimagining than a remake, because it's not just retelling the story, it's completely reimagining, okay, what would this look like with the 12 colonies? This would look like something else, or if we, reimagine like what humanity would be like, what this parallel human society.
It's a multiverse thing, isn't it? In a different universe, how could it have been?
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, okay. All right.
No. But the other take it's gone through is trying to establish more of a realistic depiction of science fiction. Like, there's no lasers, there's no blasters, particle weapons. It's missiles and conventional ammunition and ordnance. And like the way that physics is also portrayed in it. Like Babylon 5 had realistic looking physics, but I think Battlestar Galactica took that to a new level.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels very grounded, doesn't it? It feels very very earthly. much more
I like
realistic,
to
like
watch
you say.
something on TV, and I like, even though it's set in space and they're on a ship and they fly on away from these bad guys that can mimic humans, which is obviously all completely far fetched. You still watch it with a sense of, what's the word, verisimilitude. You watch it with this sort of, you buy into it,
Yeah.
you believe it. It doesn't come across as ridiculous. It comes across as, yeah, I could see that. I mean, I could buy that. There's an element of believability to something that's unbelievable. Yeah, verisimilitude. It was the key to Superman. So I'd get that in there. You've got to get a Superman reference.
There we go.
There it is.
That's
There it is for
Oh,
today. If you're
brilliant.
playing Mr. B
Take
Bingo,
a shot.
there's your Superman one. We've already had the Alan Partridge reference. We'll see what else we get.
But it's that that really sold it, and that and the no aliens.
Yeah.
Most of the planets they come across are completely uninhabitable.
Yeah.
I think throughout the series, I can count the planets, the inhabitable planets they land on my hand.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it away, but there's
It's
5 or less.
It was
right.
very similar in Red Dwarf as well, wasn't it? It was very, I mean, a lot of it was to do with budget constraints back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
But it was very stripped back as it's a mining ship, it's working people, it's not like people top of their class, admirals, captains, it's people that have been left behind to run the ship. Your computer's not much help. And
You can't say that.
your technology isn't
Poor Holly.
like too beyond, it's quite basic.
Yeah.
The concepts are set within real science. In that, again, same with Battlestar, they didn't have any aliens. Most of the things that they did deal with were like man-made, or they were like man-made things from the future. So they kind of went that way in Red Dwarf as well. And it certainly works, having it kind of laid back and stripped back and basic and easy to access and relate to and understand.
We'll say there are no cat people in Battlestar Galactica.
No.
Yeah.
That's the next reimagining.
Well, we'll get to that.
I'm
Yeah.
going to get
We'll
you
get-
little fishies. We'll get to that. Oh,
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that.
So I'm going to break a rule
Oh.
about not telling you things that have happened
Oh.
in...
Well, we discussed this the other day, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I said to you, when we do this show pod, you may need to break a rule and tell us what's going to happen, because there's no way we can talk about this whole series just not having watched 4 or 5 episodes.
No. But
I said I'm happy to do that because I still want to go through that journey anyway.
I'll go broad strokes.
Yeah.
So much like the original series, where they come across another Battlestar called the Pegasus. Now this in the reimagined, they also come across another Battlestar called the Pegasus. Now compared to the Galactica, which is like a rundown, really old, battered, like 45-year-old ship, Pegasus is brand new, top of the line, one of the newest ships. Happen to survive because their network drives just have to be offline for maintenance. And
No squeaky doors on this one, Mr. Dave.
we're introduced to Admiral Kane, played by Michelle Forbes, and she is like a fast riser through the ranks, but she's also a really tough cookie, to the point where it's revealed later on. In fact, one of the spin-off films they had in between seasons 3 and 4, it told the story where her first officer refused an order from her, so she got him to hand over his sidearm and then shot him in the head in front of all her crew.
Blimey.
Well,
And then no one disobeyed an order afterwards.
no, but I mean, that's just brutal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, okay, it kind of worked, but really?
Yeah.
Tough love, and there's tough love.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get the third in command up. It's like, right, I've gave him an order. Are you going to carry it out? And it's like, well, what is he going to do?
Yeah, go on then. It's like the story Tom Cruise told once, and it's not Tom Cruise telling the story. It was on a chat show, and it was someone else, not Tom Cruise, that was telling this story about Tom Cruise. And he said he was talking to Tom Cruise about the stunt in the Mission Impossible where he's in Dubai. And he's on the building and he jumps out and he's on the rope and he's swinging around the building. I forget who told the story. Was it Matt Damon that was talking? Anyway, and he says, this as Tom Cruise is saying, he's talking. So, oh yeah, it was a great stunt. I've always wanted to do it. He says, and I So I sat down. I was talking to the safety guy, and I was telling him about this stunt, and he said, "Oh no, you can't do that. That's way too dangerous." And then Tom Cruise, without a beat, went, "So I got a new safety guy."
They didn't shoot him in the head though.
He didn't shoot him in the head, no.
Okay, good.
But it was just like, "Oh, you're not going to do it. Oh, I'll just get someone that will then." That's it.
But the thing is, her being an admiral meant that he that Admiral Kane outranked Commander Adama.
Right.
Because in this universe it goes Colonel, Admiral. It's the Admiral, Colonel, Admiral, Commander, Colonel, Major, Captain, Lieutenant. It's a weird mix of naval and army ones, but yeah, because Admiral Kane outranked Commander Adama, and there was this other thing where she tried to strip civilian ships of their parts, and that ended up being like a massacre where loads of civilians got killed. He's actually afraid, him and Rosalind are afraid that she's going to do the same to their fleet. So there's this like really tense moment of like, well, what do we do with her? And then it's like, well, we'll have to kill her. And then at the same time, you have Kane like, yeah, Adama's not going to follow my orders. I need to have him killed. So you have this like really tense moment. And the thing is, this happened about the same time as there was the Battle of the Resurrection Ship, where with the Cylons and where they resurrect. This up to this point was like the biggest scale space battle we had. Yet the focus wasn't on the space battle. It was on the dramatic tensions between
the politics that was happening underneath.
The politics that's happening, yeah. Which
there's a lot of politics in this show actually as well.
It's very political.
Very political.
Yes, yeah. You got like a terrorist turned politician, which is probably more relevant nowadays than.
We try not to be too political in the real world if we can help it, but let's be honest, the real world at the minute, it's a bit crap. And that's one of the reasons why we enjoy sitting and talking about geeky things, because it's much nicer to talk about geeky things.
Yeah, then it reminds you about your politics of like nowadays. It's like, oh, okay, right, fair enough. But it's a really good, really good analogy. But yeah, that's I think is a strength of the series, that despite these space battles being few and far between, that isn't the reason why you stay.
No.
But when they do happen, it hits. It hits.
Well, we're going to take a short break from Battlestar Galactica because it's time to go to our geeky quiz. So, as everybody knows, as quizmaster for this series, I will be asking 10 questions to both Mr. Dick Jethro and Dave, and we'll see who gets the most right.
Yes,
let's go take a look. It's time for quiz 2. Or the second quiz of the series.
I mean, already.
I know. Quick. Your pre-question, of course, as always, is, are you ready?
Sort of.
Yes.
I thought you were just going to say no there, just to be awkward. Question number 1. In Star Trek, there's a list of Ferengi rules of acquisition. Which is number 1?
Not sure.
I'm happy to accept a rough approximation of it. Or a paraphrase of it.
Cheat with the boss's wife?
No, that one's a bit later on. It is one. Or it's similar. There's two together, which is one's never sleep with the boss. No, never sleep with the boss's sister, and then the following one is always sleep with the boss. But they're later on. They're in the hundreds, I think. Later on, someone will come on now, and I'll get letters saying, "No, it's actually 68, but it's later on."
So profit comes first above everything.
No, it's not. There is one a bit similar to that, I think, somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is once you have their money, never give it back.
Oh, no refunds. No refunds.
Close.
No refunds.
But yeah, that was question number 2. What's the name of the Doctor on Star Trek Discovery?
Hugh Colbert.
It is, yes. Yeah. Played by Wilson Cruz. In the MCU, which actor plays Darcy Lewis?
Natalie Portman?
No, but it's a good guess. I'm going to call it, I think.
Yeah.
It's Kat Dennings. Okay, question 4. What's the name of the crystals that you place into a lightsaber to make them work?
The Kyber crystals.
They are Kyber
Kyber,
crystals.
that's it,
Yes,
yeah.
Mr. Jethro.
Kyber
Well
crystal.
done.
I remembered that.
Question number 5. Peter Capaldi became the 12th Doctor in an episode called Deep Breath. What year did that come out?
2014.
It was 2014. It was
It's
August.
August
2014. Well
2014.
done, Mr. Jethro. Yes, there's no extra points for knowing that, but
Oh.
yeah. Okay. This one's a bit of a guessy type one, and it's a maths type question.
Right.
Oh.
It's not a slow trick question. Not counting the movie, how many hours of Buffy the Vampire Slayer are there?
Oh.
And we're going to go for the closest answer on this one.
You are.
I'm not going to ask you to give
Okay.
me an exact minute or hour, because that would be unfair. I'll give you a minute to think about it.
I'm going to chuck one in.
Yep, what are you going for?
120.
120, let me make a note of that. Mr. Dave, what are you going for? No, Mr. Jethro set the bar.
I'll go 119.
154.
154, he says.
I thought you were going to go 119, so if it's like anything below
Yeah.
or anything over.
So, had you have gone for 119, you would be taking the point. However, you did not. And so, therefore, it goes to Mr. Jethro for being the closest.
What is it?
So, there's 143 episodes that are 44 minutes. One episode that's 50 minutes comes to 6,342 minutes, which comes down to 106 hours, 42 minutes. So, just a bit under 107, basically. So, yeah, 120 is not a bad guess as a starter guess, really. You earned the point on that one, I think.
Good.
Question number 7. In the sci-fi television, I can't say it, series, can't say the word series. I'll start again.
Yes.
In the sci-fi television series, Killjoys, what is the name of the computer voice on the ship? Mr. Dave.
Lucy.
It is, in fact, Lucy.
Played by Tasman McDonough.
Yes, we've spoken to her. She was very nice. She was lovely. Question number 8. Born in October 1910, sadly passed away in March 99, which Superman actor am I talking about? Which Superman actor was born in 1910 and passed away in 1999?
Marlon Brando.
No. I'll be more specific with the question. This actor played Superman. Which specific Superman actor
Superman actor. I
passed
see what you
away
mean. Right.
in 99 and was born in 1910? Struggling. I had to put a Superman question in.
Oh, of
and I've made
course.
it too difficult.
George Phillips.
Nope. I think you meant George Reeves. But,
Reeves.
It
yeah,
wasn't George Reeves. No, he was Superman in the 1950s TV show. This actor was the first person to play Superman live action before George Reeves. There's your extra snippet of information there.
That doesn't help me.
A Superman fan would get that straight away now. But of course, you're not asking me the question, are you?
No. You can't give yourself the point, that.
What I could do? Okay, I'm going to call
Go
it.
on, tell us.
Yeah, so it's Kirk Allen who played Superman in he did like 3 or 4 serials, feature-length serials, starting in 1948, and then he did like 3 or 4. Question number 9. In the American action television series Airwolf, which model of helicopter did they use for Airwolf?
Bell C.
It's not a Bell C. It is a Bell.
Yeah.
A Bell B?
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give Dave the point anyway because he said Bell, and you just copied it with another letter to try and sneak the point from him. So I will give Dave the point because it was the make.
a Bell,
the make
isn't
was
it?
a Bell, but it was a Bell 222. A Bell 222 was the actual model used. And finally, question number 10 for quiz 2. In the in the film Galaxy Quest, what is the name of the ship? And I'll give you an extra point if you can tell me the number, the registry number. I'll give you 2 points available for this question if you can get it. which Jethro's normally all over the registration numbers of ships, but I don't think it...
Yes, but only ones that I've seen.
So
I
yes.
haven't
What's
seen
the
this
name of the ship for a point, an extra point? What's the registration number? And I will accept just the one word answer if you can come up with it rather than the prefix as well. I'm not happy to just accept that.
Very generous of you.
I know. Dave's going to kick himself when I tell him the answer in a moment. He likes Galaxy Quest. I don't know why I'm whispering. I'll stop doing that.
Yeah, can't think what it is.
So the number is actually NTE 3120, and it's the NSEA Protector.
Protector, right.
There we go. Never mind. Well, what does that mean to the scores? It means, I'm not going to go into numbers, but Mr. Jethro has once again won the quiz.
One again.
Well done, Mr. Jethro.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Mr. Jethro. Congratulations. You are 2 for 2. You are 2 for 2 so far, but there are others coming. Dave, you're going to have to...
Swat up on
Yes.
the old geeky knowledge again.
Yeah.
The memory palace is leaking. I need a clock.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we've really looked at a lot of geeky stuff like this. When we started this series, I think before that it'd been like Christmas or the previous year or something, hadn't it? It was or New Year. It's been like 3 months at least before we'd not really done much. So it's
True.
you know, use it or lose it. It's the brains and muscle too.
There's another bit with there, like halfway through the series. The fleets, obviously they're trying to go and find Earth, and there's like some debate whether Earth actually exists or not.
I sometimes wonder that myself.
Yeah.
I get up every morning and say computer end program just in case.
You never know.
But they find this habitable planet in the middle of this nebula that completely scrambles all scanning. So there's this real debate about, do we land here and just settle, or do we carry on?
Did they copy that on Skeleton Crew? Is that where they got that from?
Maybe, yeah. It's a similar idea, isn't it?
Planet hidden,
Planet that can't
surrounded
be found.
by clouds and
Atoms.
things. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, carry on there, Jethro.
But this happened about the same point as an election. Yeah, so when people say, oh, Battlestar's not political, there's literally an election at the end of season 2. You can't say it's not political, but yeah.
Oh, it's so political.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of it does go over your head, but a lot of it is just straight in your face.
Yeah, I mean, you get suicide bombers at some point. And in fact...
they don't hold back with the subject matter, do they?
No.
It's not, oh, should we do that? Oh, it's yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah, there's one where they're like, well, let's torture this Cylon to find out where this nuke is. Because, I mean, you have this thing of like, well, you're not even human, so we don't need to worry about human rights. But you're still inflicting pain and suffering on another being. So, you know, the good guys are essentially doing the bad thing. Which comes on to my point, where when they settle on this planet, what they call New Caprica, we have like a 1 year skip.
Okay.
And then the Cylons find them. Just a complete fluke. They're completely unprepared. Like the Battlestar Galactica and Pegasus, they jump away because they can't even get like planes in the air, and this colony is left to the mercy of the Cylons, and essentially they take over and they occupy it because, in their mind, they want to live in peace with them. But in peace, in practice, actually means subjugation and occupation, and it's absolutely bleak. And in like one of the bleakest moments, you have
Cardassia and Bajor all over again, isn't it?
you have like some of our guys, you know, the good guys, the ones we're supporting, sending people off with bombs strapped to their chest into populated buildings,
Where
blowing
there's
themselves
Cylons.
up, and humans where they're collaborating with Cylons.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
They really don't hold back on this series at all, do they?
And the thing is, making that, they thought, oh, we're not going to get away with this. Someone from the network's going to complain. But no, they didn't. I saw an interview with Ron Moore on Katie Sackhoff's show, and it was like, yeah, they really didn't care about that. They just cared about like how much blood and gore we had. But, suicide bombers, well, yeah, that's fine. But, yeah, that was bleak. That was very bleak. Remember first watching it, how the guy blows himself up, and that's where the episode ends. I was like, oh.
Wow.
They really wanted you to come back next week, didn't
Yeah.
they? I think I'm right in saying that this this is pretty much one of your favourite TV shows,
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica, along with Stargate Universe. You do like the Stargate stuff now as well.
I like that.
Yeah.
But I think Battlestar does sci-fi better, in my personal opinion.
So you prefer Battlestar to Stargate?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. That's interesting. I would have put it the other way around, actually, still. But,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But anyway, that's good. Good to know. Good to know.
Is there anybody that really forged their career in Battlestar Galactica, would you say?
Yes.
Who
Great.
are they?
Lovely. Thanks for that.
Well, I mean, you had actors like Edward James Olmos and Mary McDonnell who were big names before them, but then you got others like Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah.
Who
Done that. Hell of a lot
really,
since.
yeah, that's stopped her from being typecast as what she called like the ditzy blonde or the blonde
Yeah,
bimbo.
absolutely.
She certainly wasn't the blonde bimbo in this, was she?
No.
She could kick ass, you know. And Trisha Helfer, of course.
Yeah, that was her big
Yes.
breakout as well, because before that she was mainly known as a model.
Yeah.
But
She guest starred in Lucifer as well, in a few episodes of Lucifer.
yeah, but no, she.
Well, it might have been
absolutely
after
went
this,
for it.
actually.
Is it
Was it after this?
Jamie-
Lucifer was after
Jamie
this.
Bamber. So
Yes,
this as well.
Jamie Bamber,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
done quite a bit since Battlestar.
Yeah, Law and Order UK. I think that was his big thing right afterwards. James Calais.
Yeah.
Yeah, which if you're a Star Trek fan, you would recognise him as Picard's dad. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I
Grace
think-
Park,
Yeah.
which you would know from Hawaii.
Hawaii Five-0, the reboot, that is, of Hawaii
Yes,
Five-0.
yes.
Yeah, in a lot of these shows, you tend to find there's a lot of people that cut their teeth in those kind of sci-fi, cult, classic sci-fi shows.
Just
Yeah.
while you mentioned that, I must admit I really loved the new Hawaii Five-0.
I know you do. That's why I mentioned it.
I pretty much blitzed the entire 10 series or whatever it was in like 2 minutes or something silly. It was really good. I got addicted to it. I do that. If I get into a series, I just binge the whole thing. And that was really good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but you also had other people come in like Dean Stockwell.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, near the end of season 2, it's not really a spoiler. He's a Cylon,
Of course he is.
but he is
Does he smoke a cigar?
no. His character is very, very interesting. Where I don't know. I would just say there's more going on in his head than what he says. Like he thinks a lot more than he says, and he says a lot.
Another one that went over to Star Trek as well.
Yes.
Yes, he was in
Star
Enterprise.
Wars also in Star Trek.
Yeah.
I forget the episode.
It's in there, I can't remember.
But it was in an Enterprise episode, so there's more like Quantum Leap.
It was the
Quantum Leap is the main one.
prison warden
Yeah, that rings a bell.
and Archer's in prison.
So I mean, we had obviously the miniseries. We had 3 seasons. Then we had a TV movie called Battlestar Galactica Razor, which said about like the story of the Pegasus before they met with the fleet, and about Admiral Kane and her sort of like very strict way of dealing with
Interesting
sort of-
methods of command.
Yes. Then you had season 4, which was split into 2 parts because of the writer's strike in 2008.
Right.
And then we had like another, I think it was direct-to-DVD movie, The Plan, which spoke about like the Cylons plan like before the attack of the colonies, and sort of like parallel story of like the first 2 seasons, which was just quite interesting.
Is that from their point of view?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Did the show carry on like a lot of other sci-fi shows in novels or graphic novels or comics, anything like that?
There wasn't really anywhere to carry on with the story.
Did it kind of wrap up?
Yeah, it wrapped up completely. There's nowhere the story can really
End
go.
of it's very rare you have a show like that where they
I
do
know.
actually end the story. It's
But-
finished, there you go.
Pops up somewhere
Close
else
the book.
and continues.
But there was still demand for more. So after the series finished, there was a prequel series called Caprica, set 50 years before, talking about the original development of the Cylons. Now, thematically, this is something completely different. It's not a military sci-fi. It's more of like a
Science
drama.
sci-fi.
Well, it's more like a family drama, but yeah, there's a link between the Adama family, which I was a bit confused. Why is it the Adama family there? Because you have to have like William Adama in there, because But you also had the Grayson family developing the Cylons, and they had that interesting link there. But that only went for one season and was cancelled.
Right.
And we also nearly had a spin-off of the telling the story of the first Cylon War called Battlestar Galactica Blood and Chrome, but they cancelled it after 2 episodes, and so we just have like this one
snippet
TV movie sort of thing. But yeah,
is it a show that you think is? I think I've asked you this question before, but we'll look at it again. Is it a show that is like many old shows that's ripe for a comeback or a continuation, or is it leave it as it is?
I get it. I said I'll come back to this. They were thinking about bringing it back, like 2019, 2020. There was I forget the name of the guy. He was going to bring it back. It was going to be on Peacock, because that's Universal streaming site. They're going to have like a different release method where they release 3 or 4 episodes at once, wait a few weeks, then release another bunch of episodes. So it's a mix between like the weekly and the all at once.
How would that work story-wise then? If they've already wrapped it up, what would they do with that?
Well, it's going to be a complete remake and
a complete reboot again.
Yeah.
Or reimagine again.
But as of a few months ago, that's completely canned.
Because there was also rumours, just talking about Stargate, there was rumours of more Stargate as well, and that's always been in the ether. And
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But for Battlestar, I'm kind of glad they didn't go down that route, because again, the story of Battlestar, there's nothing left to tell.
No.
It's all told. We don't need any more. I mean, Caprica was nice to have, but
did you need it?
Did you need it? Yeah.
Jethro's very good on saying this. Did you need it? Does that need to be told? Does it need to be done?
I'd say no, but yeah, that's how I feel about it. But yeah, it's an interesting show, and certainly evolved as it went on.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
As we said earlier, it influenced other shows later on down the line. So even though it hasn't come back since 2009, we've had elements of it in other sci-fi shows that have come up and done well.
Yeah, which is why when I explained about how it's so different from things at the time.
Yeah.
That at the time is an important thing, because it did influence a lot of the more realistic and grounded depictions that came afterwards. Like it influenced Stargate Universe, being such a departure from previous Stargate series. It influenced Discovery in, I think, more ways than one. Star Trek Discovery. And The Expanse, as you said. But yeah, since then.
It's a favourite of yours, Dave. You quite like The Expanse.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think I've said a few weeks ago. It's kind of like a bit of a cross between Stargate and Battlestar, The Expanse.
Yeah.
It is an interesting mix, because you've got the kind of like stripped back industrial type ships, you've got the politics, you've got the kind of fighters going out there, like expert like jet fighters. You don't see the sort of big ships fighting each other that often. So as in Battlestar, it was like crews of fighters going out. You got the politics between the different factions, different worlds, and people who are trying to listen to a president, other people are listening to somebody else who's took over as leader somewhere else, and you got that link. And then you've got the kind of ancient sort of society, ancient species of people building these gates to different parts of the universe, and all the history and the mythos behind that, which kind of links it to Stargate. So it's certainly, if you're a Battlestar or a Stargate fan, that's definitely one to look at in terms of a modern show.
And then Ron Moore, more recently, has done a series called For All Mankind.
Yes.
Started watching that. I'm partway through season 3.
Yeah, let's check that out.
It's like if Russia landed on the moon just before America's Apollo 11 did, and how would that have changed the space race? And it's basically like Ron Moore was like, this is where I thought the space race and the space industry was going to go when I was a kid, when I first saw the moon landing in 1969. So it's like running away with that with an alternate timeline is to be like, where could we be?
Yeah. What, excuse me, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little feature that we brought back this series called Geeky Guys Favourites, where we ask each other what our favourite of a particular thing is. And our question, our favourite this week is, what is your favourite fake, made-up, pretend swear word?
Not a real one.
Not a real one. Your favourite fake, made-up swear word from sci-fi or TV. That's what we're going for on this one.
Okay, I like it.
So, Mr. Jethro, what are you going to go for this week?
Frack.
Frack, he says.
From Battlestar.
Of course.
Especially the way that Michael Hogan's Colonel Ty says it. He kind of rolls his R with it and it has a real punch. I can't mimic it,
resonance.
I was just about to say, go on then. Go on.
I can't roll my R's, but the way that he did it, it was like, it was so
Particularly
guttury.
impactful.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Dave.
I think mine, I've got two. I think the main would have to be Smeghead from Red Dwarf, we mentioned earlier, and possibly Frel from Farscape as well.
Oh, so you're picking 2.
Yes. You smegging Frel.
I am going to go with Firefly.
Nice.
That's not a swear word.
No, the show Firefly.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Goram.
Okay. What, Dave Gorham?
Yeah, so Goram, because that's they kind of I like that. It's like the whole language used in Firefly is quite interesting. Actually, we'll do a whole episode on that another time.
Oh yeah.
But, in fact, just a silly tidbit of information, which is when Laura Roslin goes to the doctor in BSG, that you can actually see Serenity out the window on Battlestar. So Firefly ship Serenity is actually just see it in the space, which is quite cool. Not there to Firefly.
Because they had a similar way of like filming the space, or the whole thing really, because it was like the camera is in the physical space.
Yeah.
There and zooming in and zooming out and shaky and.
What I loved about Firefly, just quickly, is that for all the space scenes in Firefly, there was no sound.
Yeah.
Because there is no sound in space.
Space, no one can hear you scream.
Exactly. So they would put little bits of music over it or whatever, but there would be no actual space sound.
So that saved the budget.
Probably. But there's even in the first episode, there's a bit where they're blowing a hatch, and normally in any other show you'd hear the there's nothing. You see the smoke, but there's no noise because you wouldn't hear it. And I just love that little level of
detail.
I'm going to say accuracy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That lovely little detail, attention to detail. As well, you wouldn't hear anything in space, so let's just not have any sound.
I mean, on other shows, when you see ships going back and forth and laser sounds and sounds of engines and stuff, it's like, no, it wouldn't happen.
And you don't in Firefly. You see some of the big ships fire weapons and you don't hear them because I just like that. And there you go. So that's our favourites for this episode.
Nice.
So I'm sure you've probably got more all over the Goram-verse. But that's our 3. What are your favourite pretend swear words from shows? Put them in the comments. Pretend ones. Emphasise pretend ones.
Well, maybe we'll do a whole episode about fictional swearing at some point.
Maybe we'll do one about real swearing as well.
You smeg.
What is your favourite swear word, Mr. Dave?
For the next 2 minutes, all you're going to hear is beep, 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 or beep.
Yeah. I don't know, but you are one, and a big one at that. Word hasn't been invented as
Getting
yet.
Red Dwarf quotes in now. Is that the new
Well,
game?
Explain what you are. You are one, and a big one.
In the words of Alan Partridge, you're a mentalist. Well, I think, so to summarise, everyone needs to go and watch Battlestar Galactica and support it. It's a show that's really good and wraps the storyline up at the end very nicely, Mr. Jethro's telling us, rather than just this open-ended, could it come back, could it not? They carry on in the ether or whatever. So that's quite nice. And unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. We will be back, though.
Oh, it flies.
I know.
It does.
I know. We will be back. So we'll catch you then. For all the other stuff, go to geekyguys.co.uk. Any last words, Mr. Jethro?
Frack off.
There's an in-joke there. Mr. Dave?
You're such a frell.
And we'll see you around the Goran verse at some point. Thanks for watching. See you next time.